Hey guys, welcome to the last class of the Lunar series and also to the final phase of the lunar cycle, which is the Waning Crescent. So there's a tiny slither of moon left in the sky. Although it does feel a bit bittersweet that it's the last class of the series, I know that you can repeat this series as many times as you like and pretty much as long as the moon is still up in the sky. So for today's class, it's going to be a restorative / yin flow, and there's going to be a lot of long holds, a lot of focusing on breathing and breathing through sensations that we'll be experiencing. I recommend bringing a couple of blocks, a bolster or the equivalent, and maybe even a blanket or two if you want. Anything to help you get extra cushy in this class. So get ready and I'll see you on the flip side. Welcome to the last class of the Lunar series. I hope you're wearing something comfortable and join me on a seat so you can have your shins crossed or one foot in front of the other. And if you've brought props along with you, keep your blocks close to you, but move everything out of the way for now. Let's get comfortable on our seats and close your eyes. Shift your hips side to side to make sure your sit bones feel relatively even on the ground. All right, once you're settled on the lower half of the body, let your awareness travel up the spine towards the shoulders. And let's give them a few loops forwards, up and back. Loosening out the shoulders, also getting a little bit into the base of the neck. Slow down your breathing. And then let's reverse the loop. So go back, up, forwards and down. Should feel really nice. Help loosen out that shoulder joint, which is the most mobile joint of our whole body. Once you're done with that, just relax the shoulders back and down. Be open and close your hands a few times before letting them open out again, resting on top of your knees. And let's drop our right ear towards our right shoulder and then chin towards chest, left ear to left shoulder, kind of like a slow pendulum moving side to side. Some small neck rolls here. Go slow. And as you do so, imagine layers of tension just being massaged away, like it's being ironed out. You might feel it even in those little pops and cracks. And you go as far as what feels supported in your neck. The slower you go, the better and more controlled you can be in your movement. And since this is a restorative / yin class, the slower is better. Even out both sides. And find your head through center. So between the shoulders. And we'll start with some equal breathing here. So inhales through the nose to the count of 4. So begin breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhales through the nose 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even use your fingers to help you count. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, filling up the chest. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, fill the belly. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, empty it all out. 2, 3, 4. Go at your own pace, and you might decide to increase it to a count of 5 or even higher, depending on how you feel. Just allow your chest to be filled in with fresh oxygen, and then completely emptied on your exhales, allowing your jaw to be relaxed, your eyes to be relaxed, your forehead to be relaxed. Try to maintain this even breathing throughout this practice. And just like in meditation, we always, or the mind allows ourselves to be distracted with thoughts and ideas of things to do after this class. And when we notice that, just remember to guide ourselves back through. You can use your fingers as a prompt to count evenly. And slowly open your eyes to a soft gaze. Coming into Badakanasana, so bring your feet out in front of you and bring the outer edges of the feet to touch. So we're going to open our feet like a book using our hands, and maybe about a fist or 2 fist distance from the pelvis, depending on how flexible you are. If you've got blocks, then I recommend using them to support your knees by placing them underneath. Know that there are different settings for your blocks, so if you've got if you feel it's getting really intense, or know that it will get quite intense, you can set them to a higher level so your knees don't drop so far. We're going to be holding this for maybe about a minute or so. So the longer you hold poses, the more intense it gets. So we'll just breathe through it. Inhale, feel the sit bones press into the ground. We're lengthening the spine first. And then use your hands to walk forwards with a straight spine. Only to wear what feels comfortable for you. And then let your neck just relax down. Equal breathing here. Noticing where the sensations begin to appear for you. Trying to maintain that equal breathing. And in restorative or more yin classes, actually, it definitely helps develop your flexibility. So some of the connective tissues need more than 1 minute holds to really fully lengthen out. And you just don't get that opportunity in fast-paced vinyasa classes. So in yin, when we're holding poses for a minute or maybe even longer, sometimes even up to 5 minutes. That gives your body that opportunity to lengthen everything out. Take a couple more of your own breaths. And slowly roll your chest up. We're just going to move our feet maybe about half a foot forwards, or maybe a little bit more. Maybe where your toes previously were, you'll put your heels. If you supported your knees before, you can shuffle your blocks forwards to support them again. And same thing here, we're going to inhale, lengthening up the spine. And then as you exhale, leaning forwards any amount with a straight spine at first. And then allow your neck to roll down, relax down. And noticing where the shift in sensations are. Even though the poses are very similar, this is diamond pose. You might have guessed from the diamond shape, and the previous one being bound angle, Badakanasana. Even though they're very similar, you're probably already experiencing a definite shift of sensation into the outer edges of the hips. Maybe a little bit into the calves. See if you can relax the feet. Relax the abdominal. As we are holding these poses for longer and it gets a bit too intense, you can always just slowly ease yourself out of it. So just to recap, if it gets too intense, use your hands to support you, use whatever else you need to support you coming out of the pose. And try to maintain a smooth breath. All right, let's take one more breath cycle together. And slowly come out of it, using your hands to walk back. Use your hands to support your knees and close your legs. Let's move the blocks out of the way for a moment and let's come into a tabletop. So coming onto all fours, shoulders over wrists and hips above knees, just having a little bit of mobility in the spine. Let's drop our belly, inhale, press into the hands, gazing forwards, coming into our cow. And as you exhale, cat, chin towards chest, belly button in. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, rounding the spine. Let's take one more. Softening the face as we gaze forwards. And as you exhale, rounding the spine. Let's meet in a neutral table. Press into your left hand. Inhale, reach the right hand up towards the sky. Exhale, let's thread that underneath and through for a tabletop twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring the belly in as we twist underneath and through. Inhale, reach. Exhale, just place the right hand down and switch sides. Press into the right hand, inhale, reach the left hand up. Exhale, twisting underneath and through, reaching over towards the right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower the hands down. Coming into our child's pose and holding it. Let's bring the knees wide apart, big toes to touch, and two variations here. So we've previously done child's pose with a bolster or pillows in the middle, so you can stay with this. So you're just bringing the pillow or bolster in the middle, draping yourself over and letting your chest relax down. Perfectly good variation here. Otherwise, if you want to do a more shoulder opening variation, notice where your elbows touch the ground in extended child's pose and place the blocks there. Then what we're going to do is just place the elbows where the blocks are and then bring your palms together and up and overhead. And then let your chest, forehead fall towards the ground. Once again, reconnecting with that equal breathing. And if you don't have any props, you can just come into an extended child's pose. That's perfectly fine. It's a very lovely restorative pose. Almost like we're returning to that seed-like pose like we did at the beginning of the series. Ready to be replanted in the next season. Try to relax the forehead, relax the face, relax the fingers. Maybe feel the chest droop a little bit more further towards the ground. Let's take 2 more breaths here. One more breath. Very nice. Let's release the hands. Lift your chest. Let's move the blocks out of the way. Lift up your hips. Move any other props out of the way. I'm going to parallel our shins, pointing the toes back. Coming into puppy pose. So this is a deep heart opening pose and also shoulder opening pose as well. We're going to keep our hips high above the knees and walk our hands forwards towards the top corners of the mat. Again, lowering our head down to the ground, our chest down to the ground. You can bring your hands closer towards the knees if it feels more supported for you. We'll be here for another 10 more breath cycles, give or take. So allow your heart to just melt towards the ground. Puppy pose. really allows length to be drawn along the front side of the body. It's also a very humbling pose, although you might get a few looks if you're doing this in a park or a public space. Let your armpits relax down a little bit more. Very nice. Let's slowly roll forwards. So lifting the chest, coming forwards, bringing shoulders over wrists, and press your hands into the ground, coming back into our tabletop position. Alright, once you're there, we're going to pick up the right foot and inch it forwards. So you might need to walk your hands forwards or walk your back leg or back knee backwards a bit, coming into our lizard lunge. So the right foot is coming onto the outer edge of the mat, and this might already be enough for you. So hands on the ground, front knee relatively near over the ankle, back leg is pointing backwards, hip is in line with knee. If you've got a couple of blocks, you can also place your hands onto the blocks or even forearms onto the blocks like this. If you have some cushions and want to support the back knee, you can roll it under to give yourself a little bit of extra space. Staying in this hold again for about a minute or so. This is a deep hip opening pose. So you'll definitely feel it in the left hip flexor. The right side hip as well, the right outer hip. So the mind is very good at storing tension in weird and wonderful ways. So as tension is being released, different sensations might be coming up. Sensations you might not even expect. So when they do, we just breathe through them. Calm the mind with some smooth, deep breaths. All right, probably quite intense right now. Going to slowly, gently ease yourself out of it, using your hands to support you. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee if you're supporting the back leg, and roll the pillow or bolster out the way and lower the back knee back down. Coming into pigeon pose. So I'm going to show you the least intensive variation where you'll be coming onto your backs and knees are pointing up, crossing the right ankle over the left knee, and then lifting that knee up, flexing both toes, to protect the knee joint, and you can thread your hands through behind the thighs or onto shins. And you're pressing that right knee away from you, but at the same time you're pulling the left knee towards you. So that's the least intense variation. Another variation would be just moving this prop out the way. So we're going to be bringing the right knee almost or similar to parallel to the front of the mat, and then bringing the left shin about 90 degrees to the mat. So you're at a 90 degree angle, and this is a great prep for the full half pigeon pose. So you can stay here, maybe lean forwards, bring your hands onto a bolster or use your blocks to support you. Otherwise, we'll be going into pigeon pose, extending the left leg behind you, making sure that the leg is in line with the hip. You don't need to have your right shin parallel to the mat. You can have your right shin closer. Again, we want a small flex in the knee to protect that knee joint. And if you find yourself leaning over to one side, we want to keep the hips even, so you can place a block underneath one side of the hip. So take a moment to set yourself up. Use all the props you need. They're here to support you, here to get you extra cushy. Whichever variation you're in, make sure your spine feels even. There's no crunchiness or uncomfortableness in the low back. And allow yourself to relax into this. Another deep hip opening stretch. This one's definitely a slow burner. The more you hold, the more intense it gets. But just know that you are exactly where you need to be, right here, right now, on the mats. Maybe relax your neck down towards the ground. Re-guide your breath back to some equal breathing. Send breath, send awareness to where you feel the sensation. And allow that breath to soften that area, getting even deeper into this hold. All right, very nice. Let's slowly ease our way back out. No sudden movements. And let's bring the left knee forwards. Move the props out of the way. Going to roll forwards again. So as gracefully as you can, coming back into our tabletop. You might want to shift your hips side to side. Letting some circulation come back towards the hips, maybe feeling a little difference on both sides. And let's repeat on the other side. So I'm going to be bringing the left shin, or the left foot, shimmy it forwards so it's near the left hand. Getting my lefts and rights wrong once more. And then you can walk your back knee backwards, making sure your toes are in line with the hip. Staying here if this is enough for you, front knee over the front ankle. Or you can have your blocks to support you. Hands or forearms onto the blocks. Breathing into the right side hip. Or if you did so on the other side and you'd like to try on this side, you can bring a bolster or a cushion underneath the knee to just help cushion it out. But we want to be treating each side uniquely. So just because we went into quite a deep position on the first side doesn't mean we will be able to on the other side. I think we're generally born unbalanced towards one side, and that can also be through habit. So you'll notice even when you're doing a vinyasa class, you'll be more open on one side, or be able to go deeper on another side. Relax the butt. Relax the neck. Almost there. Maybe about 3 more breath cycles. Really filling in the belly and the chest. And really emptying everything out. Right, use your hands to support you. Curl the back toes under. If you've got a bolster or a cushion under, move that out the way. And same principles on this side as well. So you might want to come to a reclined pigeon on your back. So left ankle over right knee, hands thread through, toes are flexed. Maybe pulling the right shin towards you as you press your left knee out. Or coming to half pigeon, 90-90. Left shin is near parallel. Again, flexing the toes, flex in the feet. Right shin is perpendicular to the front of the mat. And once again, we walk our hands forwards with a long spine, or fully extending out. Left shin doesn't need to be parallel with the front side of the mat. It can be closer towards the hip, supporting your left hip if you need to. And using your best pals on the mat to help you get extra cushy. You can release the back toes, point them back, draping yourself forwards, and just letting go, letting the mat support you. Surrendering to this pose, to this moment. Once again, send awareness down towards where you're feeling the sensations. Avoid fidgeting or shuffling about. Almost there. Keep breathing. Slowly press yourself up. Move any props you might have out the way. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and step your left leg back. Again, maybe shuffling side to side. All right, reverse the circles. And then we'll come onto our backs. So we're going to be coming into a supported bridge. If you've got props, then we'll be placing either cushions or a bolster underneath your sacrum. So that's that triangle bony part at the base of the spine. So we don't want to be putting the block where the low spine is. It's just below, and you'll feel quite supported there. It's quite a flat bone. If you've got a bolster, similar thing. You can adjust your height on your block or bolster to however height that fits you. Let your feet be a bit wider than hips distance and let your knees knock towards each other. Then bring one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart. Again, close your eyes. Let the floor support you. Really relax the knees in towards each other. Feel them connect along the midline. Relax the feet. Relax the hips, the abdominals, the shoulders. Feel the breath move the hands. Just like how we did in the first class, breathe into the front side of the body. Breathe into the belly. Breathe into the chest. And then empty it out. Feel yourself breathe into the side body. Expand outwards. And try breathe into the back body. And the lower back, the mid back, and the upper back. If you would like to, and you're near a wall, you're welcome to do legs up the wall. So bringing the legs together, reaching them up towards the sky. That will help bring your blood flow down towards your chest. It's quite a nice pose. If you're struggling to sleep, put your legs up the wall for about 5-10 minutes. That'll help trigger a sleep response. Works most of the time. Otherwise, if you're not near a wall, you can still do legs up the wall, just like this, holding this for about 5 to 10 breaths. This is the final thing we're doing before Savasana. So you're welcome to insert any other poses that you feel your body needs before coming into the final resting posture. Otherwise, you can join me by bending the knees. I'm going to keep the bolster underneath my hips and have my hips be supported upwards for this Savasana. You can move any props out the way if you want to. If you've got blankets, then definitely drape them over yourselves. Get comfortable here. Bring your arms alongside the body, or keep them on your belly and heart. You can also place cushions or your bolster underneath your knees for Savasana. That's quite nice. And like every Savasana we've had, allow your body to melt into the ground. Watching your breath. Releasing engagement of the body. Slowly take a few deep breaths. You can stay here for however long you like, or begin to take a few deep breaths. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, rolling out your wrists and your ankles. Bring your knees in towards your hips. If any props you might have out the way, knees towards chest, and then roll off to your right. Using your left hand, press yourself up, coming into a seat. Bring your palms together, thumbs at the heart, bow down to your prayer. Slowly open your eyes. And there we have it, the final class of this series. Thank you so much for joining along throughout this series, and thank yourself for taking care of your body, as well as giving yourself, committing yourself to personal development. So this is it for the series, but I will see you on the next cycle, and the next cycle, and the next one. Take care. Namaste.